Hello, everyone. My name is Jason Gardner, and today I'd like to spend a few minutes reviewing the systematic and heuristic methods of processing information. Like many of you, I'm in my final semester of school before earning my master's degree, and I'm looking forward to finding intriguing material for my capstone project. Today, I'd like to introduce a journal article from 1980 highlighting the two methods of processing information, provide a generalized definition of each term, and discuss how this journal article is relevant to my capstone project. Of course, I'd like to ensure I provide some contrarian points of view as well, so we'll look at some of the potential gaps in this journal article. And finally, we'll wrap up with a brief summary and some next steps I'll need to consider in my project. To ensure I've given the author proper credit, here's a full citation in APA format. If anybody believes this might help their own capstone project, please feel free to reach out to me through Canvas and I'll be happy to share a PDF version of this article. Have you ever considered how much engagement you need when entering a new conversation? What if you don't know the primary speaker? What if you know them well but don't like them? Lastly, what if you're just plain disinterested in the topic? This journal article helps us to uncover the answers to many of these questions. I hope to further analyze this article, along with others, to gain a better understanding of how participants interact when placed in a room, assigned a project, and no roles are assigned. In the article, the author analyzes an experiment where participants were asked to listen to statements and arguments from different speakers. Some of the speakers were asked to display favorable characteristics to make them more likable, while others were asked to be more abrasive or less likable. The results of the experiment helped us to understand how a likable presenter altered information processing in participants, while also testing for different controls such as the number of arguments made and the level of engagement each of the participants offered the speaker. To gain an understanding of each of the two methods, let's first discuss a systematic approach to processing information. In this view, participants are more likely to analyze a message for its contents and validity. In a systematic approach, participants are less likely to consider the source of information or out-of-context cues. In the article, our author states, quote, "In essence, a systematic view of persuasion emphasizes detailed processing message content and the role of message-based cognitions in mediating opinion change." End quote. Conversely, in a heuristic approach to processing information, participants are likely to put more weight into the identity of the source delivering a message. In other words, if a person is more likable or trustworthy, participants were more likely to find their messages agreeable. In this view, the content of a message is given very little consideration. This is proven in the study by a less likable individual presenting the exact same situation to a participant group. The author continues, quote, "Whereas a heuristic view de-emphasizes detailed information processing and focuses on the role of simple rules or cognitive heuristics in mediating persuasion." End quote. This article and its study are relevant to my capstone project as I question whether personality can more heavily influence a group than qualifications. In other words, if an unlikable yet well-educated person delivered a message to a group on any specialized subject of your choosing, would the audience agree with the message, or would they be more likely to agree with an incorrect message on the same topic from a well-rehearsed and likable presenter? In simpler terms, do we consider the credentials of a speaker? Finally, does the level of a participant's interest or engagement influence the type of information processing utilized, or is it more heavily influenced by the likability of the presenter? Now, of course, we should consider the counterarguments to this study. Yes, this is a largely subjective measure, and the sample population was neither very large nor diverse. This should be considered as a possible fault in the study, and its results could be challenged with a larger, more diverse sample population. Additionally, more analysis should be done on the likable speakers who are delivering false information. Is it possible participants are more likely to disagree with a likable speaker if the information provided is blatantly false? While the study briefly discusses delayed perceptions compared to immediate perceptions, some additional data could be collected here. Is there something similar to a buyer's remorse that could be a factor? While there are many potential counterarguments to the study, I believe these questions are the most prevalent in the immediate response to the article. As we conclude, let's recall that we now have a basic understanding of the systematic and heuristic information processing methods. We acknowledge the author's conclusion that a likable speaker is usually more influential than an unlikable speaker, regardless of credentials. And finally, we know there are some opportunities to reinforce or challenge these findings by reconducting the study with a larger and more diverse sample group. All things considered, this article does make you wonder, how influenced are each of us by the smoke and mirrors utilized by politicians? And how much, or how little, do we really spend analyzing the messages for their merit? I'd like to thank you all for your time today. If you'd like to review this article, please feel free to reach out to me through the Canvas platform.